Episode 9 is about 10 months away, but what are we looking at here? Old X-Wings? New TIE fighters? Are people wearing masks? Are they not wearing masks? What is going on in this movie that we know nothing about right now? Not even a title. What's going on, JJ? Welcome back, everybody. We do have a title of this, and it's called The Resistance Broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm John Hoey. We have a great show for you today. It is our news show. It is Monday. Happy Monday to you guys. So we are going to talk about some of that stuff when it comes to ships and masks and maybe all that other kind of stuff. A lot of stuff today. So let's bring in the people who bring the stuff to the discussion. James Bainey, Lacey Gillerin. I don't know. What's up, guys?
If we bring the stuff to the discussion, is the stuff that we're bringing discussion? So we're kind of bringing discussion to the discussion. Does this sound right, John? Is this what you meant to say?
It's all speculation at this point. We can't confirm any of it.
I think we can. I think we can confirm some things.
Yes,
but maybe not
yes.
those things like t-shirts
Right.
and stuff.
Very true. Very true.
Very true.
So how you doing,
Very
James?
true. Oh, I had a salad tonight.
Lacey, how you doing?
I'm great, guys. I'm ready to talk about some Star Wars. Still reeling about the Galaxy's Edge info. I'm waiting to pack my bags and move in and get chased off the property. But until then, just really excited.
Let me tell you something. We have to thank Clayton Sandell from ABC News again. Not only is he a great guest on our podcast, but he's legit a friend of the podcast. And, you know, I joke about this, about people having keys to the base, but legit, Clayton does have a key to the front door of the Resistance base, because anytime he wants to come on, he can push any one of us aside or just come right on. It doesn't matter. He was so generous to come on and share that with us to the point where we were able to record it the night before the posting so that we can be on pace with all the big trades and everything like that. Our little podcast was able to keep up. So it's very cool. And he was so generous. So thanks again, Clayton Sandell. Make sure you guys follow him. Obviously, you probably already do at Clayton_Sandell. And check our interview with him about Galaxy's Edge. It is on our YouTube channel and on SoundCloud, Spotify, and iTunes. Guys, we have poll results. I don't know if you guys knew that, but it's our new segment. And I'm just kidding. We do this all the time. All right, let's do it. All right, so this was actually one of our closer votes in a long time. So let's dig in here. We said, do you think we'll ever see Ahsoka Tano in a live-action Star Wars release? So by that we mean played by an actual human being.
You said
with
it wrong.
Costume and makeup. And what's that now?
It's Ahsoka Tano.
Oh, yes. Did you guys see my play on words with Daniel Kennedy, by the way?
No.
So he designed a t-shirt.
Did. Yep. It's beautiful. Beautiful shirt.
It says Tano on it. And Ashley Eckstein was modeling it. And I said, dude, you're going to sell a ton of those. Nailed it.
And you brought this up on the podcast so people would think you were funny?
I mean,
Like more exposure for that joke?
I don't know. He liked it.
It is a cool shirt, guys. Definitely check it out. And Daniel, congrats. It's an awesome design. It is legit. You're going to sell so many of those.
Legit. So we asked, do you think we're going to see Ahsoka Tano, played by a human, live action, Star Wars series, film, whatever, ever going to happen? 54% said no. So most of the people believe no, which means only 46% said yes. It was very close, but most people leaned no. Guys, were you surprised about the results? Were you surprised it was this close? To be honest, I was.
Yes, I'm surprised it's that close because I would think that the majority of people who would be exposed to this poll, you know, Star Wars fans, would think that, yes, it's going to happen. But the fact that it's kind of split, I think really proves that the answer is probably no, you know, or the expected answer among, because even Star Wars fans are like, yeah, that probably won't happen. So like, of course, the average fan is like, who? No, you know, I don't even know who that is. So I'm just going to vote no. Yeah. So I don't think it will, but.
Would you vote?
Me?
Both of you.
I voted no because I think that
I did
We
too.
talk about this a lot. Like, it's really hard to take animation and then convert it to live action. It's easier to go from live action to animation. And I know people have shown interest in playing her. Like, I think Rosario Dawson a couple of years ago was like, I'd love to play her, but
Oh, right. Yeah.
I just don't see it happening, guys. I'm really sorry. I think it's a great character. I think Ashley does a really good job being the voice of that character. I mean, she's built like this fangirl fashion empire based on Ahsoka, basically. But I can't see that being live action, only because a good example is like my husband Matt has no idea who that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I think some characters could probably carry over. Like, I actually think like an Ezra would work, or maybe a Sabine. But like, I don't know about Kanan. I think Kanan might look weird. I think Hera would look weird. I just something about it seems like
Twi'leks though.
But they don't look. They look weird.
Yeah, I think like there's something about like I have this character in my head, and when that character shows up and it doesn't look like that, I think it could be weird.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, like they've done that before. Like Saw Gerrera was obviously a character, but there's a huge age gap there, you know. So I don't know. It's tricky, but and I think if it goes the other way, it's not that big of a deal.
Oh no, it's easy. Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah.
They've done that a lot. All right, so our best comment went to Joe LaBrosse at Kylo Ren.
Love it. Love that name.
And he said, I think it's possible we see her on a Disney Plus show, but it will be performance capture rather than costume and makeup.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
He said it would be perfect as long as Ashley Eckstein is the one playing her. Which I don't know that the sands of time may have passed on that. But you know,
unless they do the capture, like a
but does Ashley Eckstein know how to do that?
I don't think you need.
I don't think.
I think they just capture your likeness.
Well, then what would be the point of her doing the motion capture? Wouldn't she just do the voice of and have someone else do the motion capture?
Because they can say it's her.
Yeah, I guess so.
That would be the point.
I mean, that's a good comment, though, Joe. That's a good point. We didn't really
I didn't think of that
it,
at all.
I dig it. But let us know what you guys think about the results. Were you surprised? All down the line. Give us your take. Leave a comment. Start the discussion. All right, moving on. James, it is news time. So let's fire up the Resistance report this week.
It's the Resistance.
Resistance report this week is a little bit of a few leaks. I don't want to call these leaks. I guess they're leaks, right? We're talking leaks this week.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you don't like this, you should probably skip ahead.
Yeah. Or just not listen to this episode, Lacey.
But you can skip ahead to the questions and the Scoundrel rundown, guys.
But I think all this stuff is pretty loose because for the most part, it's like us saying, "Hey, there's going to be an X-wing, so where do you think it fits in?" You know, it's like
I just like to warn.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have to say this. I mean, as we get closer to episode 9 and as more stuff heat up, we're naturally going to have these types of speculation discussions, which can be considered spoilery, but a lot of it's our speculation based on facts. So I get that some people want to be fresh when it comes to going into these movies, but if you're listening to a Star Wars podcast, I think unless you're listening to some really boring stuff, you're going to run into speculation and some, ideas and stuff being tossed around. So we do try to give warnings when there are spoiler stuff. We try to be fair with you guys. And as Lacey said, if you need to, though, you can bop ahead to the rundown and we'll figure out ways to get you involved. But
so this week there was a photo or a few photos that were going around that showed a wrapped up portion of an X-wing and another completely wrapped up but clearly in the shape of an A-wing, and these were seen near or around episode 9 stuff. John, do you actually know where these were?
Location wise, not sure, but part of the photos did show documentation or whatever you want to call it, box tags that say Trixie on it, and they even say T65, which a lot of diehard fans will know what that is. Yeah.
So that's part of the speculation too, is that, well, this could be for Galaxy's Edge, or this could be for so many other things, but it actually looks like this is for Episode 9. That's how we know was the box art. So good on you, John.
Trixie.
Yeah. Do we think that this proves anything specifically? Do we think that this gives us any sort of hints at what might happen in the episode, like Luke's X-Wing showing up? This is the tricky part, is that I think if you get a close look at that X-Wing, it looks like it has like some water damage on the outside. And I think that is the main thing that's leading people to believe that it might be Luke's, might be like, raised out of the water, dried up, and now it's got these like stains on it and stuff. Lacey, what do you think about this? Do you think this actually gives us any hint of what we're going to see? I speculated that we might be going back to Jakku.
Yeah, I mean, I see it more being something left behind, but not Luke's. I think Luke's was only shown in Last Jedi to show that he's never left. I don't think it was there to be like, guys, we're going back there. And I think that fans in general have a lot of this, like, oh, what if we're going back to this? Like, guys, remember, this is the last movie in the series. We're going forward. We're not going to keep going back and back and back. But I could definitely see it being a ship on Jakku, especially if they've been filming in the desert, which they have been in Jordan. But I don't know about water unless they crash at some point. I know there was talk of like a jungle set or something like that maybe they could have crashed because they shot around like a water area. But I mean, as always, guys, this is ships, so I'm just pumped that it's a ship from Star Wars because the ships are some of the coolest things when it comes to Star Wars. So,
all right, John, let me ask you, this is a ship from Star Wars, but this is a very specific ship, right? This is a T-65. What
all
does
right,
that tell us?
Don't downplay what I just said.
No, I mean, yeah, at least you make a good point that maybe they're just trying to show by showing it crashed for that brief moment in The Last Jedi. Was just kind of saying like, he has not gone anywhere. That thing has been parked. It's like when you find like a prime parking spot in Manhattan, when people live in Manhattan, they never take their car anywhere.
What if they go to because they shot where they shot Rogue One? Mm-hmm. What if one of these ships is there because that's where they go to get more ships?
This is what I think, and I know I keep going back to this, and actually before I get to this point, let me say this. If they're bringing back T-65s, like there's a fleet of T-65s, that is a little interesting to me because they are coming out with that novel about the Alphabet Squadron, which is going to be focused on T-65 type X-Wings. Mm-hmm. What if these squadrons do end up answering this call that wasn't answered initially in The Last Jedi and all new old fleets of rebels come in? That'd be kind of cool. If it's not that, and if we're just doing this T-65 thing because it is Luke Skywalker's X-Wing, I hate to say it, guys, and I'm ringing the bell again, thinking flashback here.
Yeah, yep.
What if we see Luke crash at Octo and he's not all straggly bearded yet and he's still all jaded on what happened?
Or he could just drop it with the Force into the water. Maybe it's not a crash.
Yeah, it could be that.
Or a little too Force Unleashed, I think.
It might be.
Well, he's not pulling moons down out of the sky.
I'm just saying he's pushing it.
No, I know.
Yeah, I mean, so I hate that I keep bringing the flashback bell, but Rian Johnson kicked that door open pretty good. So I could see that being a thing for JJ to revisit, like, well, this is how I saw Luke running away from everything. Everyone had their take on what Rian did with it. Here's how he went there and how he got there and what his state of mind was then. I think fans would be interested in that, even if it's just for like a minute. And I think I saw somewhere, this could be wrong, I think I saw somewhere, I don't know if it's in the cesspools of Reddit or what, but that there may have been a rumored Octo-looking hut set built at Pinewood Studios. Take that with a pinch of cinnamon because I don't know. There's no photographs being taken in Pinewood, so it's just people saying stuff. So, I mean, flashback would point to that as well. So, I don't know. What's your take on it all, James? You were saying something about Jakku, right? In your video on Patreon?
Yeah. So, I was thinking that kind of pointed to a specific time or era when, where would they have crashed T-65s? But I actually do like Lacey's idea, too, that there might actually be a place where they say, Resistance is gone, man. They blew up the car. There's maybe a couple, like the Black Squadron still has some of these newer ones, but we need to go somewhere where we can actually like pull the old school rebellion stuff, just the same way like Last Jedi they went
speeders,
to.
Yeah.
They went to not only the ski speeders, but that was at a old rebellion base.
Right.
So maybe there's some truth to that. Like maybe, I don't think there was any X-Wings in there, but maybe in the time being they got away and they went to another kind of abandoned thing and they had to like rig up these old ships. And that's going to be like another way that they kind of connect the whole franchise, is that like, we're back in like ships that we saw in Rogue One and A New Hope.
Right.
Some of these ships might be like Red 3's X-Wing.
I like that.
Yeah.
What if they call the fleet in and all of a sudden you see it's not the March of the Resistance, it's an old theme played from like A New Hope, and you see the the ships come in, and then you see the cockpit and it's friggin' Wedge Antilles.
Oh, or they do that
You both
that
are
same
so excited
shot
right
that
now.
they added for the special edition. You know that one where you're getting close and it's like panning around and Yavin's in the background?
Right.
They do that same shot again just to like call back to.
And they bring Wedge back in the old T-65. Talk about fan service. The place will
And
go
he says
bananas.
some line like, "Let's show them how it's done, folks," or something like
Yeah,
that.
be like, look at the size of that thing. Just brings his old line back.
Because I feel like that's such an old
Starting to
man
get too
movie
much
quote.
now.
Like, let's show them how it's done. Like, I
No,
feel
that's
like
be done. No, just for Lacey, that's be done in a southern accent. That's what we have to do.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, saddle up, partners. We got to hit that oscillator.
Brand new hole in that oscillator.
There's a hole in that space station.
I hit that oscillator, so I'll see you later.
Gosh.
Please, no.
Well, as you can see, like we talked about this leak, but this leak is basically the only thing really there is that there may or may not be a T-65 that shows up, and the speculation on what that really means is like all over the place. I feel like there's probably like 4 other really good possibilities that would be awesome if they pulled that off. That if you guys want to put that stuff like in the YouTube comments, something we haven't thought about yet, but let's go ahead and move on to the next thing.
I like those
which
options
is,
we came up with, though, I have to say. I think all of us put a good option to the table. Maybe that'll be next week's poll. Which, you know.
Ooh. What is the T655 best option? All right, let's move on to this next thing. And this one is I would think like I don't know. I don't want to call it. I want to call it a leak because it's definitely something that wasn't like published, but at the same time, it's definitely the thing. We're looking at it. We know exactly what it is. This is actually our first look at the new TIE fighter that's going to be at Galaxy's Edge. So there was a bunch of photos released last week of tons of stuff with the drinks and the toys and the clothing and everything else, and even a couple looks at some of the innards of some of the buildings, and we saw like the TIE fighters that are up on the wall. But this is completely different, man. This looks like something, I don't know, kind of like Darth Maul's ship with like different weird variations of other TIE fighters, including Kylo Ren's TIE Silencer. If you guys want to look at the picture, it's pretty cool, but it's not black. It's like a gray. So it kind of calls back to the original Empire, not so much like First Order, where all their stuff seems to be black. So it's pretty neat looking. This is at Galaxy's Edge, and we heard from Clayton on the last episode that there's a pretty good chance that this is actually going to end up in episode 9 as well. We talked a lot about how that could be cool for fans to see it in the park and then move into the movie and be like, that's the one they have at Galaxy's Edge. That's so cool. I got to sit in that thing, or whatever, however they do it. I don't know. It could just be sitting there for you to like touch and take pictures with, like the AT-ATs are, you know, at Star Tours and stuff.
Right.
But I'm going to let you guys talk about this. The official name for this is the TIE Echelon. And I'm going to toss it over to John just to see, you know, what do you think about this thing? Is it cool? Is it bad? What do you think?
Well, I mean, it's definitely cool. It gives me little throwback feels, but also at the same time fresh. So that nice little cocktail there, the right happy medium. It definitely looks like Vader X1 with the hexagonal wings, but also the front of it looks like Clayton had said. It almost looks like the front of Kylo Ren's shuttle, which we found out the First Order has a billion of those. Yeah. But I gotta say, it makes me excited about Galaxy's Edge, but I think more so Episode 9, because while I don't like the cheap let's sell action figures with these new troopers, and they always do that thing, like we always make fun of every new trooper in every movie because everyone gets excited about it, and then they wind up doing nothing. But there's a
mountain trooper now.
But they try, it's a mountain trooper. There's a guy
I thought the mountain trooper was from Solo.
No, that was a little different.
Range
that was a mud trooper.
No, range.
No, the guys because they had the fur, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're going to have troopers they're going to have... Those
troopers look like a cross between the range troopers and the shore troopers from Rogue One.
They also kind of look a little biker scoutish for some reason to me, like the front of the mask.
Yeah.
And, I don't like those per se because I think they're just kind of cheap pops to try to sell figures. But when it comes to new ships, I like this kind of stuff. And I got to say...
stupid radar ship from Solo.
What radar ship from Solo?
The stupid thing from the deleted scene, but they made toys about it.
Oh,
it has 3 giant satellite dishes on the top. It looks so stupid.
They're not going to let you touch this thing at Galaxy's Edge, but I would love to get to the top of it, because then I could say at the upper echelon.
Oh man,
I'll be here twice a week, baby.
Happy hour time. I get 15 minutes every Tuesday.
Yeah.
Nope, don't like that.
Someone out there laughed. I know. I can hear you right now. So thank you. No, I dig it though, James. I love it. I think it's very cool. I'm very excited to see this thing in action. Hopefully, it's like a fleet of them. I hope it's not just like one.
Yeah. So that was actually my question to Lacey is this, let's assume this ends up in episode 9. Are we just going to see this thing go fly by like really fast? Kind of like they had a new TIE fighter in Rogue One and it like flew around and shot down a couple X-Wings. And like, if you blink and you miss it, is there any chance that this is actually going to have some prominence and be like a featured ship like Kylo Ren shuttle was? Or is this just going to be the background, Solo? Remember it had those like TIE bombers or the new one with like the side window or whatever. Yeah. What do you think?
I think, first of all, that this ship looks really cool. Like John said, I said this a couple days ago to John, but, or maybe it was just yesterday. Guys, I'm losing my mind. That it looks like Kylo's ship and the shuttle from The Force Awakens and like a TIE fighter / Vader's ship had a baby. Like it's literally
Is it weird
that ship.
That it reminds me of Avatar a little bit?
It's the gray. It's the gray that's reminding you of Avatar.
I think it is.
Because everything we've seen so far, especially Kylo Ren related, because my soft boy loves black, is always in black. But this one's definitely like a
I'll stop wearing black when they make a darker color.
It does. It doesn't to me, but...
But what I was going to say was, this ship to me looks like someone important would drive this. I don't think it's just a random throwaway ship. And the reason because if you think about Galaxy's Edge, guys, the only ships right now in there are a TIE fighter, or was it this is the TIE fighter? I'm forgetting right now. Yeah, is this that TIE fighter ship that he was talking about?
They have a TIE fighter that looks like what we saw in Force Awakens in that like that big hangar bay.
Right.
So
but
just like off to the sides.
Hold on. But outside, this is the only other ship outside besides the Millennium Falcon.
I believe there's going to be multiple ships.
Right.
This is going to be one of them.
Right.
This is going, I think this is the one he was talking about was going to be near that new 709th recruiting station. Okay.
Also, don't forget there's that little transport ship at the top.
Right, on top of the thing. I'm saying like the ships down on the ground, the ones that people are going to take pictures with this ship and the Millennium Falcon. So to me, that says that this ship has some point in the story that's important, whether it be on camera for a certain period of time, it's carrying someone important drives it at some point, because why would they put this ship out for everybody to take pictures of it in the same way they would put the Millennium Falcon out there.
I think there's going to be an X-Wing outside too.
But everybody knows what an X-Wing is.
Oh, sure. I just said, people in the comments would be like, you forgot about the X-Wing.
No. I'm saying that because people recognize a TIE fighter and an X-Wing in the Millennium Falcon, this ship must be something not necessarily important, but something substantial that when you see it, you're going to immediately know what it is.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So here's my thing. Okay, I looked at this photo and I was like, oh yeah, I think I can tell the relative size of this. There's some trees behind it. There's these little like barricades, and usually those are about 3 feet tall or something. But I think when you guys are describing it as the front of Kylo Ren's ship, it almost makes me think that you guys are thinking that the people fit in that little area in the front.
No, that's the back. That's the part where you get out. But that's what I'm saying. But that's what you see in The Force Awakens. You don't see the front of it. You see Kylo Ren coming out of the back of it when you first see it. That's what I'm referring to.
I disagree. This is the front.
No, that's the landing pad. That's the landing ramp.
Look where the cannons are pointing.
See, I can't
see that far
unsure. I was kind of unsure if this was the front or the back, because the front I would think would have like the dome, and you'd be sitting in there like a pilot, and that would be about the normal size for a TIE fighter. But if that is the front, how does a person sit in that, John?
I'm thinking of it as the ramp
on your stomach.
I think that's the landing ramp, John, because look at the bottom of that ramp. That's how it's even slanted, so when it hits the ground, it's adjacent to it's parallel with the ground with that little lip, and it works the same way that like a ladder out of your attic works, where it lines up perfectly with your floor. That's the front of the ship.
It could be the front of the ship, but it also could be both.
It could be.
Because if you look at the size of that ladder there, that's probably your standard 8-foot ladder.
Right.
And if you took that and moved it up, that's about an 8-foot amount of space in that little midsection, and people could easily be sitting in there. So
right, but all these ships have domes in the front, like James says, where people can view out like a windshield.
Yeah, this is different. This is different.
But it doesn't look like there's anywhere to look out the front, though, John, right?
We're also getting a weird angle, though.
Yeah, I see these two little like windows on the side that almost look like X-Wing windows or something, but
that's why I'm saying the front looks like a landing ramp, like a ramp to get out, because again, it's slanted, and then there's that slant at the end where it hits the ground, and then it hits.
You know what we have to do? We have to see the top of this thing to really get an idea, because it looks like that does open up there as a ramp.
Yeah,
but I also think it's still the front, because those cannons on the side are clearly pointing in that direction. So
are you sure they're cannons and not like turbojets?
That's my guess. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it's a twin ion engine, I don't know if they're throwing turbos on these.
I guess you know what to put in the YouTube comments. We need some opinions.
Yeah, let us know.
Is it the front or the back?
Check out the photo of this thing. Yeah. And again, this thing is going to be at Galaxy's Edge, which opens months before episode 9. So you're not spoiling
potentially
anything.
June. Yeah,
in California. So you're not spoiling anything by checking this out. So check out the photo and let us know what you think about how we just tried to analyze this thing. Obviously, it's tough to do because it's only one photo and it's from one angle. So we're just trying to figure it out. But either way, I mean, I dig it.
All right, let's move on to the last story that we got this week. And this is a story that comes from Fanthatrax, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So Fanthatrax crew actually is the person that's taken this, and he says, they were looking at some things, and it looks like that a company called Series 3 Production has booked some time, and there's also another company called E&E Industries, and they all together, all of this, what it's pointing to is that they have reserved space, reserved time, reserved locations for the Cassian Andor show, and it looks like those locations, the time they're reserved is going to be set up for when are they filming? Sorry.
So
in the fall.
Yeah, this fall.
That's what I thought. I thought it said here in the headline the time, but yeah, this kind of gives us a little bit of an idea, also, as well as like when we might see this show, which I think it's kind of assumed that we're going to get it next fall. So we probably won't get like Mandalorian season 2, but we would get like this show, or they might double down. But I think this goes to show that we're probably going to get the Cassian Andor around fall next year, 2020. John, do you agree with that? Do you think this confirms this? How true do you think this story is? Do we trust Fantha Tracks? I think we do.
So yeah, what they're saying here though is interesting because they're claiming Series 3 Productions is not about The Mandalorian or Cassian Andor. They're inferring this production company is for a third series.
Oh.
So
Obi-Wan?
Could it be Obi-Wan? Could it be another series? I know there was a rumor going around. I think Jordan Mason from Cinelinx was saying he's heard of a fourth series that may be cooking around. So that is interesting to me. I do know that Fantha Tracks, one of the guys over there, I forget his name, and I apologize, but he's probably not listening to this. That's all right. He had boasted that they usually, because they're in the UK, those guys, they usually nail the production companies and they tie them to certain productions for Star Wars. They've been doing that since The Force Awakens, I guess.
Yeah, and they know all of the companies, and they have like a chart that shows you what company means what.
So they're probably spot on with this in terms of the production company names being right. Now, what they're for, I don't know. I don't know that they're saying they know. If they knew, I'm sure they would report it, right? So I think they're just honing down on the names of the production companies. They're going to kind of chase that, those breadcrumbs to see where they go. I have heard some stuff this on, what's today? Monday? On this past Friday, I heard some stuff about this, something in this story here that I'm trying to get more information on. So I will try to find that out, and we'll let you guys know more about it when I do. But it sounds like
they're up a story.
Yeah, thanks for reporting nothing.
I can't. I'm sorry.
I got this thing, but I can't tell you.
But it does sound like, I do agree that it does sound like there is another show being produced in addition to the two that have been announced. I know we've been talking about the Obi-Wan. I don't know that this is that. And then it looks like they are setting up a production company for a movie. And I know we've been talking about here, we think that the Game of Thrones guys, sounds like they're going to be coming first ahead of Rian Johnson's trilogy. But watch them throw a curveball. Who knows? But it does sound like it's going to be a movie in production and a series. I buy it. I buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, John. You know it's really weird too because you just really gave us the news because I didn't read through this article before we recorded tonight, but I read through it when the news article came out, and as you were saying it, I was like, yeah, that's right. That's what this story was. I remember I was like, yeah, I remember it was something having to do with some studios and Cassian or something. Yeah. But I should have read through it again because I do remember it seemed so obvious. Like the company is definitely called Series 3. Yeah. And that to me is like calling the movie like Trixie, you know? Like,
right.
Like it's even, there's an I and an X in the title, you know, they're telling you it's 9. So at the same time, it's like Series 3. We can't give it away yet because there's no title.
Maybe it's a trilogy.
But Series 3, you're saying? Yeah, I don't know, man. I lean towards it's the third television series. I think that's just them saying,
I do too.
You know, yeah, we're leaning towards that. I don't know that it necessarily is the movie thing because the biggest thing for me is that Series 3. It's literally called Series 3. I don't know. I can't think of a more clear name to call it.
It's fun to do that though, to take these production company names and then try to like find out what it means.
Well, like, because Trixie before Trixie was called Black Diamond, so everyone was like, what does it mean?
But a lot of times, some of this stuff means nothing. Like Space Bear meant nothing because they had Bear nicknames for each of the people in the cast.
No,
so like,
Ryan said that Space Bear was Luke. That's what it was for. Who's the last Jedi?
I know, but that means nothing. He just called him that. You know what I mean? Like if you in a vacuum, if you say Space Bear, figure out what that means to Star Wars, it means nothing. But because during production Ryan called him that, that's just what it happened to be called.
He's an old burly man, a bear, a space bear.
Yeah, they had bear nicknames for everybody. They had bear nicknames for everybody in the cast. They had Space Grizzly, they had Space like Black Bear, they had all that stuff.
Okay, I don't mean to be the obvious here, but if you're calling Luke Space Bear, it's because he went into hibernation.
Or that, yeah.
I think that's the most obvious reason you would call it Space Bear is because the most important character has gone away.
The point being is sometimes these things don't really mean anything. So, but series 3
point,
does seem like they're saying it's the third.
Just like shot you down.
Yeah. But I mean, it does sound like series 3 is the third series, but like E and E, like what could that mean, right? E and E. Like they're saying that's for a film. Is it rule of two E's? Is it Benioff and Wise both have E's in their name? Is it, I don't know.
No, yeah. I bet it's something like so say yeah.
We're really going into this, guys.
Yeah,
like we
super crazy speculation.
Come on.
But I think there's a good chance that it might actually have something to do with it. Like let's say it is Old Republic and there's a king and a queen and then they had 2 kids and the 2 kids are E, and then
this is getting too crazy.
E.
This is too much.
The first name's E, the second name's E.
Mm-hmm.
Starts with an E, and
no characters with E's in Old Republic.
How do we know?
Okay,
it's not canon yet.
That's what I'm saying. Is couldn't that happen? Isn't that already a Knights of the Old Republic story? Is that there were 2 sons of the king, and one was light side and the other was dark side?
Could happen, but the point is the reason why we're doing this is because this is what people do. People are going to look at these things, and we're not taking it seriously. But some people do look at these things and they try to dig and look for answers. All we do know is that I think this is legit. That there is a 3rd series in the works. And that there is a movie that is going to be in the works. And we'll try to get more info on that later.
Lacey, you got anything to add to this?
No, I think you guys talked this one through, so I'm ready to punch it.
All right.
She's literally ready to punch it. She's tired of talking about production names.
Let's get ready to punch stuff.
Okay.
John, I'm going to send it over to you so that we can do the Scoundrels rundown.
All right. On the count of 5. Ready, guys? 1, 2, 3. Punch it!
Punch it!
Punch it.
Got you guys. All right, guys. So
I don't know if that'll be on time or not.
J.J. Abrams was interviewed by ET Online's Ash Crossan, a former guest of the Resistance broadcast.
I would say friend of the broadcast.
Therm scissor punching her way across the galaxy. She interviewed J.J. Abrams briefly, and he basically said that he believes fans will be satisfied, was the key word he used, with episode 9. So, what do you? I mean, there's not much to take there. She tried to get a title out of him, and he wouldn't budge. But she gave it a shot. She took her shot. So respect there.
He also said, though, the big thing too that he said was that she asked him if the response to The Last Jedi has affected at all. What?
Running it down. Run down.
Well, I'm saying you left a part out. A big part of this.
Just a rundown.
All right. Whatever. Never mind. Go ahead.
Okay. Darth Maul heading to Star Wars Celebration. Ray Park coming to Celebration. Pretty cool. Jedi Fallen Order will have a huge panel at Star Wars Celebration. So Respawn is apparently bringing it at Star Wars Celebration. I'm excited to see what that game's about. I guess it's about a young Jedi who escaped the Order 66. And you're going to be able to play that. And hopefully it's better than the last few runs of Star Wars games, because they've been getting a lot of flack lately. Lacey, what was that thing you were going to say about JJ?
Nah, it's not important. Just keep running it down.
The rundown's over, so we are going to...
Jedi Padawan.
Yeah. I'm going to make Lacey tell me what she was talking about in the next segment. So that is it for the rundown. We're going to send it to Lacey for Ask the Resistance. So Chewie, get us out of here.
All right, guys, it's time for Ask the Resistance. You've got Star Wars questions. Hopefully, we've got some good Star Wars answers.
I've been wondering, what are midichlorians?
So our first question comes from LaserBrainNews at LaserBrainNews. And they ask, do you think / hope Kylo Ren will get a proper theme song this time around? Or will it continue to be a sting / motif? I'm going to take this question because it's a Kylo Ren question. So the funny thing about Kylo Ren and / Ben Solo is that I am kind of sad that he doesn't have his own song, like a Rey's theme or a Yoda theme, Leia theme. But the motif, like you said, is very noticeable in the movie. And when you hear it, you immediately know he's coming into the scene. I think I would love to see him get his own theme in the next movie. However, it's the end of the movie, so I don't know how he would get his own theme. It really depends what happens. So there's a lot of songs throughout the movies based on characters, their choices. So when Anakin goes fully dark, there's like an Anakin's Deceit or Descent or something like that, isn't there? I forget the name of it. I was just listening to it today on Spotify and I forget already. Awesome.
I always forget those titles of those tracks.
But there's one specifically of when he decides to make that choice to, I believe, kill Padawans or like make the dark decision. So I think there will be, depending on what choice Kylo Ren makes.
Kylo's final choice.
Yeah. Or like
Kylo's final decision.
Right. Or
like Kylo's
or like
Kylo's finality.
I guess so. Or you could see something like the Son of Darkness theme or the, fall of Kylo Ren or something like that. Or it could also be a redemption theme. So it could be like the rise of Ben Solo or Ben Solo Returns or something like that. I don't know. It could be one of those things, but I think it's going to depend on where the character goes because John Williams' music is always very emotional and about character development. So that's going to determine what the song is. I hope that gave you a good answer. Awesome.
I'm surprised
question.
it took you so long to get to that point. I was like, really? She's not going to say, of course he's going to have his own theme. It's going to be the Ben Solo theme.
Yeah.
No,
and
I think
going to have his own song for the end of the movie that's like a redemption song.
Hold on. Everyone needs to know this because I feel like there's some discrepancy on what I want and what's going to happen. I would love to see Ben Solo redeemed. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. It might not happen. And that's okay because it's a Star Wars movie and I'm going to love it. That being said, I'm not going to leave out the possibility that he might go fully dark or die. Thus, I give my whole answer of here are all the options that could happen. Of course, I'd love to see him redeemed, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. That is my answer. Yeah. All right. So next is Noah Korth at Noah _ Korth.
Wait a minute, Lacey.
What?
What was that thing about JJ I missed?
It doesn't matter. With all the news coming out about the Galaxy's Edge taking place after The Last Jedi, do you think it is more or less likely that Batuu will possibly show up in Episode 9? James, what do you think?
Okay, so here's the thing, is that the Batuu, the setting of Galaxy's Edge, does not take place during the Clone Wars. They could have done that. They could have said it's set in the prequel era. It's set, somewhere in between this and the original trilogy. They didn't. They set it in the sequel trilogy. And I think that your question only sets up one possible answer is, does that increase the chance that it could show up in Episode 9? And the answer is yes, it does. It does, in fact, increase it. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that it's going to, because they would have to shoehorn it in. They'd have to figure out a way, hey, JJ, don't write the best story. Write a story where they go to this world. That's one requirement that you have to have. You have to somehow figure out a way for them to be on this planet. And maybe, go talk to this specific alien or go to eat food at this shop or something. And I think as soon as you step into that, you start to ruin the movie. You start to get to a point where something's not clicking and they're making things, for selfish reasons. And I really don't think that's what they're going to do. But your question, the way that it's worded, has to be answered with, because it takes place during this era, does that raise its chances of showing up? I think it does, but I'd still think it's like, 15% to 20%, it just raised it just like a hair.
James, what if they show Batuu in like a celebration at the end of the movie, just like briefly?
I mean,
like a pan
you're saying like Return of the Jedi special edition kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's a good point. I mean,
just like, oh, that's Black Spire. I went there.
But again, I think that the fact that they put it in that time setting is more reason why that could happen.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a big place or just a pan over. But I don't know. Who knows?
All right, cool. The next question is from JSeed47 at JC47. And he asks, what are the chances, or he or she, sorry, I don't know if it's a he or she. What are the chances that Snap Wexley has a larger role in 9? Actor is JJ's friend, and he was the tie-in from Aftermath trilogy. And then he says that he's pouring one out for Mr. B. Personally, I would love that the whole crew to be around helping out still somehow. Same with Thane/Sienna from Lost Stars. John, what do you think?
Oy, Maron. Yeah, I don't think they're bringing any book people over to episode 9 for the reasons we beat over the head on the podcast that, you know, the average fans don't know about them. So if they do bring them in, it'd be like a quick little nod. Now Snap coming back, he's gonna be back. He's not gonna have a large role. Greg Grunberg was a minor role in TFA. I think he had like 2 lines or something like that.
You say Tina Fey?
What?
No, he said TFA.
TFA.
I know, I'm just messing.
Your jokes are worse than mine. I don't care what anybody says. In The Force Awakens, he had like 2 lines. Yeah, he's his best friend and all that, and yeah, whatever. But I don't want Snap Wexley to have a big role. I think he was kind of a character. So, I know what I missed in that JJ thing on the rundown that Lacey was talking about. So JJ being affected by TLJ and the reaction to TLJ, I bet that's what you were going to say. And that he said he wasn't, and he acted aloof about it. He's like, oh, there was what? Reaction, blah, blah. So, you know, it also sounds like this question is almost like, is it going to be a go back because of reaction to TLJ? We're going back to the way The Force Awakens was. I don't think so. I think it's irrelevant. I don't think it matters. But the short answer here is Snap Wexley going to have a larger role? No, I really don't think so. But he'll be there. The Black Squadron will be there. He'll get his 2 or 3 lines, get his paycheck, thanks to JJ. And that'll be it for Mr. Grunberg in the sequel trilogy.
Nice. Okay, and last but not least, we have our General, Mello. Yo, what up? At A Gray Jedi. And he asks, for all of us, hey guys, what is the best part of the podcast, of the Patreon podcast group chat? So, who wants to start?
No.
Why is the best part of the podcast the Patreon group chat?
Oh, see, I read that weird. Whatever. It still means the same way I said it. He's asking why is that the best part? The group chat.
Ooh.
I have an answer.
Okay.
I think the reason it is because have you ever had a job where you have a friend that talks something that you're interested in, and then you like move jobs and like no one there is interested in that, so you kind of just fall out of it? I think that the Patreon chat is kind of a little area that people, where they can post something on Twitter and it may or may not get responses from people, but if you come to the chat, it's just full of people who are like willing to like talk to you about it, and get excited for those reasons, or set you straight if you're talking crazy, you know, or whatever. I mean, like in a good way though, like where we're, you know, we're saying like, hey, what do you think of this? And we're like, I don't know about that. And they're like, well, I could see it, you know. But I think just because I hate to be so like, I don't know, kind of weird with it, but it's community. I think there's community there, and I think the people that are there are all wanting to, I don't know, be on their best behavior. I know that kind of sounds weird too, but yeah, like I think there's a little bit of like, you know, you're paying money to be part of a small group, so you're not gonna want to be in there and like spamming. you know? Yeah. So I think there's something about like the community and trying to keep it kept and respectful. And it's really good because, like I said, you can post something on Twitter and you might not get very many likes, but you come to the chat and post it and everybody's like, very cool. I like that, you know, and it's pretty neat.
I love how the notes say quickly. John, what do you think?
Gee, lazy's spicy. Jeez Louise.
That's default text. It always says
it was all because of that damn rundown. I should have just let you get the thing in. All right, Mello, I think, and this was a randomly selected question. I just, why is our group chat why is our Patreon group chat the best part of the podcast? I'll tell you why it's great, because we get to talk to our listeners on a very personal level, and we get to know them and they get to know us outside of what we're doing right here. And then also we'll talk about things we're going to be doing on the show in the future. We let them know about guests we're going to be trying to get on the show and that sort of thing. We talk about when we're going to post stuff. It's almost like a little behind the scenes, like when you see a behind the scenes Star Wars video, which I love those things. It's almost like that for our podcast. You get talk to us and and that sort of thing. And in addition to what James said, just a nice little fun, tight-knit community. So it is a really good time on the Patreon group chat.
I'm writing in there right now that you're currently answering Mello's question.
There you go. Lacey, what do you think?
So all those things that they said, I've been going last on a lot of these questions tonight. I think that this group chat is great because everyone in there is super nice. And it's some of the best parts of my day is going in there just to talk about Star Wars and talk about what's going on. And then the other thing, being someone in there, that is the first place I'll post if I see something on Twitter. I will share it to the group chat. Mm-hmm. So if it's not spoilers, but anything cool, news or anything that posts, I will immediately share it to the group chat. Even sometimes quicker than our personal group chat, I'll share it there first. And then the thing that I personally really love is that they're all really creative people in there and super fun, and they give us really good ideas, and they make memes of the show and our inside jokes. And it's just this camaraderie that you don't find very often on Twitter, in the sense that I feel like no matter what you put up, you always get 10 people that are arguing with you. Whereas in the group chat, we're all just having fun, and we're there to have fun, which I find super important about Star Wars. I feel like sometimes the fun gets kind of sucked out of it. And
you know what, Lacey? It's that's a great point, because there are people in there who are Reylos, there are people who are anti-Reylos, but everyone gets along. Everyone's very nice to each other, and it's just proof that it can still exist in the fandom. So it's our spark of hope. How about that?
I don't know though. Everybody's really mad right now that John will not be doing a dance.
Yep. Well, it's Adam Odell's fault. He doctored the results by making fake Twitter accounts. So.
It wasn't that crazy, guys. It was a couple accounts.
To get right over. Yeah. No,
once we got followed by @MakeSolo2 happen, I'm like, that didn't go that viral. What the hell's going on here?
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for your questions. If you want to be on the show, make sure to follow us on Twitter @RBATSWNN and tweet your question to us with #AskTheResistance. It could be about anything Star Wars, and you could be on the show and we can give you a shout out. So back to you, John.
All right. Are you pointing at me?
Are you gonna go?
It said you can ask some questions.
Right. Well, first I do want to thank, speaking of Patreon, I punted on this last week. Our Patreon generals, we have Adam Odell, Carmelo, and Val Trichkoff. I want to thank you so much for being generals of our Patreon page. You guys are the best, so thank you so much. Even though, Adam, you tried to fudge the numbers with the fake accounts.
Okay, he's making it sound like it was a ton. It was a couple, guys. We don't have a ton of fake followers, John. Let's not start spreading rumors.
Adam made 6 accounts just that one moment. That's all he did. All right, so I want to thank you guys again for listening. Make sure you guys do subscribe to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and of course YouTube. How are you, everybody? I see you out there. Head to StarWarsNewsNet.com. That is our website where you get all of the latest news, reviews, editorials, information, and more. And TeePublic. See this? Gary the Porg, if you're watching, you can get this. Our Resistance Broadcast Arrowbest logo t-shirt. And James is just wearing a thermal. You can't get that there.
It smells new. I just got it today.
Does it smell like vinegar?
Yes.
Don't they? I don't know why TeePublic always smells like vinegar. But teepublic.com/user/resistance
No, grape
broadcast.
Lollipops. That's what it smells like.
Grape lollipops?
My vinegar smells like grape lollipops, so you guys are on the same page.
Okay.
teepublic.com/user/resistance broadcast. They have sales all the time.
Treats.
So make sure you check it out. Check out the sales, pick up a shirt, pick up a sticker, whatever you got to do. We appreciate that. And as I just mentioned, our Patreon page is patreon.com/resistancebroadcast. We are very active on there. Lacey runs the page for us. We post pretty much every day, as much as possible. And starting at $2 a month, you can join the Resistance on Patreon. A lot of exclusive stuff, and especially at Celebration, we're going to be doing a lot of exclusive stuff for you guys on that page. So join. Now is the time. But that does that. And now just our personal shameless plugs. You guys can find me at Johnny Hoey on Twitter and over at StarWarsNewsNet.com. James Arthur Bainey, what about you?
You know, it's funny. I have never noticed you ever saying that, but apparently you've said that a number of, like, multiple times. My mom came over the other day and she looks at me and she goes, "Well, hello, James Arthur." And my wife and I are like looking at each other like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And she goes, "That's what your friend called you on the show." And I thought, I don't know what that is. Like, maybe James told him his middle name was Arthur or something. And I'm like, I don't have any idea what you're talking about, but it sounds like
this has been a week-long thing.
Fake middle names.
Months.
Yeah. Well, I just figured, can I tell you why? Because you were a world famous rock star, and I don't want people to find the real you. I want them to go find the fake you in case they are weirdos. So they're going to go find James Arthur Bainey somewhere. Maybe it's the guy who owns James Bainey on Twitter. Maybe it's that guy. Maybe it's at James Bainey. But you're not at James Bainey. Where are you?
I'm an at Myra Trunks. Twitter and Instagram. Hit me up. Lacey? And hit up the YouTube comments and Instagram stuff for the actual official Star Wars, or not Star Wars Newsnet, but Resistance broadcast.
Oh, there it is.
So,
Lacey?
There you go.
People can find me on Twitter at Lacey Gillerin, where I talk about Star Wars, and hosting Star Wars Newsnet Weekly on YouTube.
Excelente. What is today? Monday? Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening.
First Monday in March.
We are going to be back on Thursday. Last week, we lied to you and said that last Thursday we were going to talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi. But guess what? This Thursday, we're going to talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi with our second in our full character discussion segment, because our Patreons voted for it. So thank you guys. And thank you all to all of our listeners. We appreciate it very much, especially everyone who has been subscribing to our YouTube channel. That count is climbing every day. You get our podcast there. You get Lacey's show on there. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff. And we are going to be doing some of our videos from Celebration on there as well, of course, including our whole coverage of the event. So if you can't make the Celebration, just join the Resistance, baby. I don't know why I said baby.
We got you.
But we got you.
We're going to be the only outlet covering it. So
yes. Yeah, we're the only ones doing it. Yeah. Until then, we are going to be here every Monday and Thursday. So enjoy your week, and we'll see you guys on Thursday morning with another episode right here on the Resistance broadcast. See you around, kids.